4-part special man builds backyard DIY modern wooden gazebo. So you're going to see today's goal is to get the main wooden gazebo structure up, and you can see a quick time lapse of what we're going to be seeing today. Coming up in this episode, I'm going to be getting the timber, showing you how I screw it all together and do a ecstatic job. So beginning is planning it out. Get a notepad, pen, find out how much wood you need, fix any issues that you come across. For example, in this gutter, you'll see in the last episode I had to sort out the gutter. I ordered the timber online, waited for the delivery, and here we go. We have some treated wooden timber. Got it into the garage. I actually went ahead and made sure I used the best straight pieces for the top of the wooden gazebo, and I'm going to share today how I made this wooden gazebo even better by using paint. I painted this wooden frame before I made the structure. Here's some white satin paint, and that's going to give our gazebo a nice contemporary feel. I haven't decided what the end goal for this will be, but I have got a 4-series episode where I'm going to be sharing each of these steps and making sure you see what I end up doing with the gazebo. There are some plans which I'm going to share with you, so stay tuned and we'll see how this progresses. So you'll know I'm buying a small city house. I've got a project where I'm doing out every bit of the house, and this is the garden element of that. I painted all the timber and I stored it in the garage. I left one top side unpainted because that's where I will be putting the roof battens on, and I feel like I don't want that painted. So you'll see how this fits in. I've got some flash band. I'm going to be actually using this to waterproof some of this as well. I'll probably link in the description to a lot of the stuff I'm using in case you want to do it. You can get the stuff online or go to a local builder's merchant and support your local businesses and help them instead of buying online. Just whatever works best for you. So you'll notice I've already gone ahead and cut out one of the wood frames for the wall plate. I'm using concrete screws. I used and thought about concrete bolts, but the bolts were a bit not correct for what I wanted to do. I went ahead and put the wall plate on the wall, pre-drilled with a 6.5mm concrete drill bit, and then I went in and put the concrete screw through the wood into the wall. I did a test of this before I went ahead and did this full structure build. So you'll notice this gazebo is a lean-to gazebo. It actually leans on the house, so the frame there will be on the wall and the other structure will be coming off that. The end dimensions I'll probably put in the description so you can see the proper stuff, but stay tuned and you'll see how this progresses because I find it very interesting. There's a lot of people that make greenhouses, they make outbuildings, they make gazebos, and no one really talks about how they put the wall plate on the wall if you're doing a lean-to. So I found using concrete screws was sufficient. I am going to be extending it actually, so you'll see where I'm showing you here. I'm going to actually bring the wall plate all the way around and have a longer structure. So because I've already covered in the previous episode, I stopped weeds growing in my patio. I also put this extra slab here in the aim that we're going to have a bigger gazebo here. So I made this patio area bigger, and catch up on that, you'll see in the playlist somewhere. I'm actually progressing with this, so it's a nice journey having you along with me, and I appreciate all the comments. I'll respond to the comments where I can and answer any questions you have, so do pop any questions in the comments and I'll see if I can help you if you're thinking about doing any of your DIY projects. It's always good to do stuff yourself, especially in the current climate. I'm finding that builders are high in demand. Getting a good builder is very difficult, and most of the good ones are booked up. So if you can do a lot of this stuff yourself, the material is fairly inexpensive compared to a full quote. For example, if you got this type of gazebo made, you could look in the £5,000-6,000 region if someone was to build it for you, and you're looking at material cost of maybe £2,000 maximum. So I've noticed that builders tend to double or triple the cost of the material for their labor. So keep that in mind. So these are the concrete screws I'm using, and I found them working very well. Again here, just pre-drilling and then making sure everything's level, and then screwing that into the wall with a concrete screw to hold it in position. Take this into account. Think about how big the structure will be. My wood here is a 4" by 2", sort of 4x2 wood, and that's going to be the roof and the down struts, the supports. So overall I'm working it as I'm building it. I left a 20-degree tilt, so like a fall off for the rain if it does rain, if I decide to cover this. So in a later episode I did decide to cover it, so do stay tuned. And I actually put a roof on my gazebo, and how amazing is that going to be, because you can use it as like a seating area and stay away from the sun and get limited rain on you if it ever rains. Again, I'm doing this all myself. You can see the time lapse here, getting each of the wood beams. You'll notice the top of this wood beam I left unpainted because I've already planned ahead to cover this with a polycarbonating sheet. So that will be an interesting development, and we'll see how that works out. So right now this is the patio area which is going to be covered over, and I've cut out each of the birds' mouths and all that business. It doesn't need to be technical. Use a bit of paper, a bit of card, and work out what the angle is, and take out a little chunk and put your rafters, I assume you call these. Again, I'm not going to be using correct building terms. This is like a DIY project, and I'm just going to call it a roof beam. So a lot of people that have building knowledge will be interested to see how this develops. I'm hoping you are able to give some comments and guidance in the comments below of what I could have done better. Overall, the structure worked out very well. I'm just making sure it's the right measurements, it's square, by using 2 roof beams. What I'm basically doing here is measuring the far end and this end, making sure it's level and having the right fall off the roof. So if the overhang is the same, then it's all square, measuring corner to corner and measuring from each side to make sure that the measurements are correct and in scope. So if you pre-plan this, you can actually stick to your plans, but sometimes you can order some timber and make sure you've got the right amount. Again, this will be a wooden gazebo, which is basically going to be a nice addition to my small city house. An outdoor gazebo can be used for a number of different things. You can have a seating area, you can have a barbecue area, and I'm keeping that in mind with the placement and how I put the wooden beams on the roof. So again, I'm using a structure here where I've got a 4x2. It's going to be supported off the building as a lean-to, and I position each of the woods and cut them to make sure they get the best join onto the building, using level and screws and potentially metal hanger plates as well. So overall, you want to be able to make sure that this is a comfortable project for you. And I'm already planning my roof and thinking how many beams will go here, what the measurements will need to be. If I decide to cover this in future with a plastic sheeting like a polycarbonate, what measurements do those come in standard? Normally you get like a 600mm, 700, 900 or 1000, which is a meter. The bigger you go with a polycarbonate, if you decide to cover your roof, which I do decide to do in my future episode, you will be seeing how that works out. I actually made sure my wooden beams here were in place for the roof structure, also making sure that our timber was painted, because when you see this from underside, looking at a wooden white structure is a lot better than looking at a wooden structure. So contemporary feeling with the painted beams makes it look very good. So that's a nice little tip for you. And if it's going to be covered, you can have it indoors and use different types of paint. So again, these are all beams. I ended up using something like 20 wooden beams, and I am going to be expanding this structure, so you will see how well it comes along. In the future episode, I will be going ahead and doing a lot more on this and putting more beams in, and that'll work out nicely. So stay tuned for the next episode, which you'll see on screen, and that'll be where I start putting the wooden beams in the gazebo, and maybe the polycarbonate will be the next episode as well. So I'll show you a quick preview of that. Click on screen to see the next video, and as part of this series, I'm hoping you enjoy this. I'll see you on the next episode.